as she delivers this message. You got it, Brother Director?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. You got sound?
Yes.
Okay, good.
See, let me test it right here. Yes.
He had been to the Caribbean in the Western Hemisphere even prior to that. But we came to these shores 1555. Now the school books say 1619. Jamestown was the first settlement they were able to sustain. Okay, not the first one they ever had. Now, here's Jefferson. To emancipate all slaves born after passing this act. This bill does not itself contain this proposition, but an amendment to it. Now here's where he gives you the content of this law that he's trying to get passed. He says they should continue to their parents to a certain age, then be brought up at the public expense
Turn the volume down, back
to
down.
tillage, which is agriculture, arts or sciences, according to their geniuses, till the females are 18 and the males 21 years of age, when they should be colonized to such place as the circumstances of the time should render most proper, sending them out, talking about the slave population, with arms, implements of household, handicraft arts, seeds, pairs of useful domestic animals, and declare them a free and independent people, and extend to them our alliance and protection till they have acquired strength. We, of course, know that bill did not pass.
I got that other video too.
He
Get on
writes
running.
here,
Oh, you're talking about the brother getting shot in Jamaica.
It's about 4 minutes.
Of the
Okay.
program. Because there are those of our people that think something's wrong with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, thank you, sir, for the Muslim program. Now, this is Jefferson in 1784. Now, look at this. He says, some will ask, well, why not just retain and incorporate the blacks into the state and save the expense of supplying, now listen at this, supplying by importation of white settlers the vacancies they'll leave. So the plan was to bring in as many white people as black people are being sent out. Now, look at this. Here's Jefferson answering the opponents who, why are we going to spend all this money? Giving black people and giving them arms and food. Now, we put in 200 years by now. Now, look at what his answer is. Deep-rooted prejudice entertained by whites. 10,000 recollections by blacks of the injuries they have sustained. So he's going into the mindset of each of the two people. White people with their deep-seated prejudice toward us, and our memory, which no matter how much we try to escape it, of their injuries to us is always there. Then he goes on to say, new provocations. Like when a white cop shoots a black teenager in the street. See, it never stops. There's always a fresh experience. To show the futility of these two people trying to merge. Outside of Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, a couple of others, and even that's in turmoil, this doesn't work. Now, he goes on to say, many circumstances will divide us into into parties and produce convulsions, which will never end, but in the extermination of one or the other race. He said it again. He says this ain't going nowhere except the extermination of one or the other race. And I'm not even going to, we don't even have time, but I don't even feel like the psychological effects, because it enrages me. When I go on to read, he breaks down the inherent inferiority of black people. He talks about black people having a disagreeable odor.
I'm getting ready to come in close.
Okay.
And tobacco all day without a bar of soap. You're bathing and your smell makes us want a bar. All right, what is your excuse? This is natural to you.
Okay, let's see. I know what happened. Where you got it set up. Okay, there we go. You back, brother, down.
And we got the audio? Okay, cool. And there you have it. That's an excerpt of a lecture that she did. I believe it was in New York City, called America. And I would invite all of you to go on YouTube. You can search it. You can look at that full lecture now. And you can of course be enlightened by how she breaks it all the way down, and how it was something, this idea of separation and making sure that we were taken care of, off to ourselves, able to be free and independent, was something that Thomas Jefferson himself suggested, and it was a bill that he literally tried to get passed for us to be separate. And of course, he's called a founding father. And when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad suggested the same thing after a record of continued oppression, many people tried to say that he taught hate, but what he taught was love. And I would say to any abused woman, when a man is constantly beating you, constantly kicking you in your behind, constantly cursing you out, constantly abusing you, any man with a daughter, what would you have your daughter to do? Should she stay with him and try to make progress, or should she get out of an abusive situation? And the relationship collectively with one people and another is a relationship of one person or one group of people abusing the other group. And should we remain in an abusive relationship? Our relationship with America has been an abusive one. Been an abusive one. It has not been one of freedom, justice, and equality. It's been abusive. It has not been one of self-determination. It's been controlling. It has not been one where our education system works for us. And if you want a good education, many of you have had to what? Spend a lot of money on private school. But then even with the private school, the Eurocentricity that is put within the education has you to where you don't even recognize your children when they come home. You're like, and as one man said, when you allow Caesar to educate your children, don't be surprised if they come back as Romans, all right? That's just what it is. Now, I wanted to run one more contemporary example of why it's not a workable thing, the idea of integration. Now, it's all right to vote. It's all right to try to use your political power to attain some benefit. But we all know that Biden is full of crap. he was dragged kicking and screaming to the so-called student loan forgiveness because he doesn't believe in student loan forgiveness. You understand? He has to be dragged even though he promised to do something. Look at how he had to be dragged into it because he really doesn't desire that you be debt free. He really doesn't desire that you be out of jail. He really doesn't desire that you have equal rights. He's willing to give you symbols. He's willing to have a black vice president as long as there's no black agenda. He's willing to have a black Secretary of Defense as long as there is no black progress and unity. So I wanted to say that. Go ahead, caller, and before we run this clip, go ahead, caller. You're on the phone with the community defender. Excuse me.
Good evening, Dr. Darrell.
How you doing today, sir?
Very well. You know, I always say I'm blessed and highly favored.
Yes, sir. You definitely are.
You know, you speaking of some things from other countries, you know, and things like this here. But we have a lot of that here in the United States. You know, let me go from Lafayette, because that's where my residence is right now. We got North Lafayette and we got South Lafayette. You know, and they bring in confusion with the two different sides. One is white, one is black, you know. But the main thing I want to say, you know, we allow the education system to educate our kids, you know. And I'm finding out that a lot of our kids can't write in cursive. So in other words, they can't sign their name, you know. And the thing of it is, we send our kids to be educated through the education system, but the education system is not really teaching our kids what we should know. And when us, like you and myself and others, try to bring the things that is airing us to the forefront, we are considered non-American, you know, but we live in America. So the thing of it is, I appreciate everything that you're saying. And I'm the one that always says, keep throwing the brick in the graveyard. It might hit somebody and they're going to say, ouch. You know, but we know we live in a society where we are not focusing on ourselves as a culture of people, because the Europeans have educated us to believe in their system, and their system is not of us, of the people of color. Thank you, my brother. Keep up the good work.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you giving us a call. All right, there we go. Now, let's go ahead and try to run this story. Columbus, Ohio, man in bed gets blown away by cop.
The shooting appears to happen in an instant, and Donovan Lewis's family is now calling for that officer to be held accountable. I said that dog again!
This disturbing police body camera video capturing the moment a Columbus, Ohio officer killed 20-year-old Donovan Lewis. His grieving family this morning calling on that officer to be charged.
Donovan was unarmed, and he was abiding by police commands to come out of his room when he was shot in cold blood.
About 2:30 a.m. Tuesday, a team serving a felony arrest warrant for Lewis on domestic violence, assault, and improper handling of a firearm.
Department H, come to the door, Columbus Police, we're not leaving.
The officers in uniform identifying themselves for some 8 minutes, standing at the apartment front door, calling on those inside to exit.
Walk backwards to me.
2 eventually did.
Mr. Donovan, where's she at?
Officers then entering with a canine to find Lewis. Authorities say Officer Ricky Anderson fired one shot at Lewis after the bedroom door is opened. Lewis appears to be raising his hands before being struck and collapsing. The police chief says Lewis appeared to be holding something in his hand. A vape pen was found on the bed, but no weapons. Video made public just hours after the incident.
See, I inserted the real video. When they
Here, I'm gonna lock him up. Here. Here. That dog again. Hey, come in here.
Just open it and shot him.
Like this. But I mean, I need cup, I have cup.
It is critically for us to
Right there, I'm getting ready to come to you.
You can cut it now. Whatever you like. All right, now, of course, there you see what continues to occur in this place called America. You continue to see the injustice, which is incessant. It is perpetual. It does not stop, however we want to express it. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention incidentally, and this is another thing that they're pushing, and that is this feminist agenda. Now, if you look at the brother that was on there, he did appear to be a little diabetic in the sense that he didn't have much masculine energy. And these are the kinds of people that the enemy will put on television. They put people on television. They do not like the idea of a masculine black man who loves women on television. And you could just see that's a form of continued oppression. That's a form of continued attack, because what we must have before our young men is strong masculine images. And when you looked at that news reporter, you didn't see strong, you didn't see masculine, you saw something from those alphabet people, which is something that we as strong black people must reject. The alphabet people agenda must be rejected by black people who have the best interests of black people and black family at heart. So I wanted to lay that out there. We of course want to lay that out there, but we also want to mention that we want to keep the family of Dr. Minister Ava in our prayers. We want to keep in our prayers many of those who have lost loved ones unjustly. The family of this brother lost a loved one unjustly, and so many families that continue to lose people either through police violence, racist attacks, or what we call fratricidal violence, where it's brother against brother because of self-hatred. All of this suffering is more than what we need to be going through, and it is up to us to come together to change it. Without unity, there will be no change. Without unity, there will be no black business. Without unity, there will be no black curriculum. But as long as you and I are kissing the butt of Biden and the Democrats, or kissing the butt of Harris and the Democrats, are not coming together as a people for our own family and our own future, but doing more for the Democratic Party than for us as a people, nothing is going to change. We got to begin to focus on us. And lots of what we are fighting for now is the same thing that Biden fought against. It was Joe Biden that passed the bill that made it impossible, nearly, for you to get rid of student loan debt. It was Joe Biden that wrote the bill for mass incarceration. All of the things that we want, Joe Biden is the one who worked hard to take away those things that we wanted. But many of us did not know his history. We tried to inform you as the community defender. But look at how he had to be dragged to forgive a small amount of student loan debt. And if you went to Howard, that's just a drop in the bucket. If you went to Morehouse, if you went to Xavier, that's a drop in the bucket. If you went to Tuskegee, that's not going to do it. You got to understand that we're trying to get free, and the person that we voted for doesn't want us to get there. And that's pretty much it. How many minutes? We out. Okay, good deal. All right, take it easy.
At least that part would be
Oh,
that part would be recorded. You know.
okay, that works for me.
Would be recorded.
Yeah, I thought we had like